Hello there and welcome along to Upping the Ante, our Cheltenham anti-post tipping show in association with 188bet. I'm David Jennings from the Racing Post and I'm delighted to be joined by my regular colleague Mr. Gavin Lynch. How are you, Gavin?
Good, Dave. How are you?
I'm fantastic, and I'm also joined by Chris Graham, a trader from our sponsors 188bet. How are you, Chris? An interesting weekend.
Hi guys, how's it going? Hope you had a good weekend. Fantastic couple of days of horse racing, Saturday and Sunday. Hope you enjoyed it as much as me. Looking forward to giving you my views later in the video.
And we certainly will be back to you later in the show, Chris. Now, before we get to the action, Gavin, you love Cheltenham so much, one year you even cycled to the Cheltenham Festival.
Yeah, somebody said I loved it so much I'd walk there, but we actually cycled for charity. We, myself, my brother and my cousin, so it was a 200-mile cycle. And we raised 17 grand for charity. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Well, now that's all well and good. 17 grand for charity, cycling 200 miles. Like, it's anybody could do that. But what we're going to ask you now to do is something that certainly not everybody can do. I don't think anybody can do it. Gavin Lynch here thinks that he can name all 28 races at the Cheltenham Festival in 28 seconds. One race a second. And not only that, but he's going to put them all in order. I don't think this can be done. Gavin thinks it can be done. I've got my stopwatch. So here we go. This could get you into the Guinness Book of Records, because I don't think anybody's even tried this. Who would even be stupid enough to try it? Okay, so all 28 races at the Cheltenham Festival in 28 seconds. On your marks, get set, go.
The Supreme, the Arkle, the Ultima, the Champion Hurdle, the Mayor's Hurdle, the National Hunt Chase, the Close Brothers. Wednesday is the Ballymore, the Carl Cup, the RSA, the Champion Chase, the Cross Country, the Fred Winter, the Bumper. Thursday is the JLT, the Pertemps, the RYANAIR, the Stairs, the Brown Advisory, the Mayor's Novice, the Kimure. Friday, Triumph, County, Bartlett, Gold Cup, Fox Hunters, Martin Pipe and Grand Annual.
Yes! He did it! He did it! 28 seconds. Gavin, put it there.
Don't bother, Dave.
That is extremely impressive.
It's a sign of a sad life, really.
Yeah, it is a very sad life. So if you think you can beat Gavin, send your videos in to us and we'll try and play it in next week's show. But I don't think it's going to be possible. I certainly don't think it is. But enough of that funny stuff. Let's get down to the serious stuff. And that is the weekend's action. And what a cracking weekend we had. We're going to start off with what the English people think is a legend. I love him. I don't think he's a legend. But following his fourth successive Unibet Champion Hurdle trial win at Haydock on Saturday, is the new one now a realistic contender for the Stayers Hurdle?
He has to be a realistic contender. I wouldn't back him now in a million years, but he has to be a contender. I think there's three races at Cheltenham.
He has to be a contender, but you wouldn't back him in a million years?
I think the race is very, very, very difficult.
Okay.
I think there's three races this year at the moment that are virtually impossible. It's the Triumph, the Gold Cup and the Stayers. And most of those are going to show up here. Most have a chance. Like Yanworth would be a huge danger if he goes there instead of maybe the RSA. But the new one has to have a chance. He did win a Neptune over 2 mile 5. He's been in the last 4 champion hurdles. He was 3rd, 5th, 4th and 5th. So he's not going to win a champion hurdle. There's no RYANAIR hurdle over 2.5. So yeah, they're right to try it. Maybe he'll stay. He likes Cheltenham. As I said, you could see him finish in the first 3 or 4 maybe, but it's a very good race.
And we know all of them won't run, but if they were all to run, would you have them at the bottom of that list?
I probably would. There's a horse that's not on that list I would give a sneaky chance to is Bicardi's, who I see is entered in the Galmoy Hurdle on Thursday in Gorham Park. His fencing chasing career hasn't gone that well. He's another horse that would have a chance because he beat Finian's Oscar Punchestown and he hasn't stepped up to 3 mile yet. He'd have a chance. Super Sunday has a chance. Sam Spinner. Apple's Jade won't go there. It looks a very good race, and then you've got your horse who can't win.
Lammy Surge?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we're saying now is that the new one is a contender for the Stayers Hurdle, but he won't win it in a million years.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay. Chris, any love for the new one?
It was lovely scenes on Saturday. It was a wonderful occasion, the new one winning. I think everyone enjoyed it, maybe even you, David, I don't know. A great performance at Haydock. He's been a wonderful servant in the last few years, but I can't have him winning at Cheltenham at all. All these people who are saying his form's as good as ever, total rubbish in my opinion. Run a cracker. I think they're aiming him for the Stairs because they just obviously think he's got absolutely no chance against Bouvet. But he's never run over 3 miles before. He's not even tried at 2.5 this season. You know, if it was a championship hurdle race at 2.5 miles at the festival, then he would have a much better chance, I think. But 3 miles is just far too far, surely, for this horse. He's a gutsy horse. I still wouldn't be shocked if he turned up in the champion hurdle, to be honest. I think this seems like a far-fetched plan. At 12 to 1, I just couldn't have him.
Yes, I certainly did enjoy watching him win. I know I'm not the new one's biggest fan, But I actually think he does have a chance in this. I think 12 to 1 might underestimate him a little bit. It's not a great race, and hence why I fancy Lammy Surge. But I think of the three of us, the new one hater actually loves new one the most for the Stayers Hurdle, which is quite interesting. So that's the Stayers Hurdle puzzle solved.
Yeah, I think it's very hard.
No, it's still very murky. Okay, Undeso has now won 20 of his 26 races. Is he still underrated? And more importantly, is he a rock solid favourite for the Ryanair Chase, a race he won last year?
Yeah, like he's won 8 Grade 1s, he's won 4 Grade 2s. He actually crossed the £1 million sterling barrier there at the weekend. He's a brilliant horse, isn't he? Last year, people didn't really fancy him that much because the ground was good on the day, and he still won the race. Now, it wasn't a very good, maybe, renewal of it. He beat Sub-Lieutenant.
Is that because it's his first run of the year, maybe, that he handles it, like he doesn't seem to handle it as well at Punchestown, but he seems to handle it better at Cheltenham?
I'd say he's only been beaten realistically by good ground over 2 miles by Sprinter Sacra and also Fox Norton. I think on good ground over 2 miles, things happen too quick for him, whereas he gets away with it over 2.5 in the Ryanair. Now, he looked like he was going to win the Ryanair by 10 lengths at the last. He only won by 1.5 lengths, so he barely gets the trip, but he has won over that trip in France on bad ground as well, so I think he's rock solid.
Would you be backing him at 7 to 2?
I think that's good enough value, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So a repeat in store for Undeso in the Ryanair Chase. Chris, is there a repeat in store for Undeso?
Underrated, and I think people are now beginning to realise what a great animal he is. I think I thought about this long and hard, and obviously when he won the Arkle, it looked like the next big thing, but I think Sprinter Sacra totally overshadowed him when he came back from injury and then beat him in the Champion Chase, and it probably looked bad on Undeso getting beat by a much older horse back then, and that took away a bit of the lustre for me and for other people with regard to Undeso. That sounds incredibly harsh because I realise Sprinter Sacra was a great horse, but that's just my opinion. Is he a rock solid favourite for the Ryanair? He's 10 years old now, I think the last 10-year-old to win this race was Alberta's Run in 2011. It's a big ask. If the ground is good that day, he could be beaten by the likes of Top Notch, Fox Norton. So for me, he's not rock solid favourite 3 to 1. Sorry, 72 who won at 8-bet to win this race. But you should go off favourite, but if it's good ground, I just fear at 10 years old he might be beaten by a younger horse.
In my opinion, there's only 2 horses could beat Undeso as Top Notch or York Hill, but it's likely now that York Hill is going for the Queen Mother, so perhaps Top Notch or Undeso, but I'd be an Undeso fan.
Yeah. I think we can certainly take it set in stone that York Hill does certainly go almost definitely for the Queen Mother Champion Chase, because Willie Mullins never changed his mind. So York Hill for the Ryanair Chase perhaps mightn't be value at 7 to 1. So moving on to the Gold Cup. Now it's a big week. It's a big 2 weeks in the Gold Cup scene, because we've obviously got the Cotswolds Chase at Cheltenham on Saturday, and then we've got the Irish Gold Cup the following Sunday. So could the murky Gold Cup picture become clearer after these 2 races? And right now, with 50 days to go to Cheltenham, if you were to have one bet in the race, who would it be?
Which question first? Will we talk about the Cotswold and the Irish Gold Cup?
Well, you can intertwine them.
Okay. The only thing is that those 2 aren't running in those couple of races. So
no, that's fine, yeah. I only want to know what you want to back.
I think Whisper will probably win the Cotswold Chase, but if he does, he's going to go from maybe a 16 to 1 shot to a 10 to 1 shot. The Irish Gold Cup, it looks a very, very open race. It's 3 to 1 the field at the moment. Our Duke, Road to Respect, etc. I don't think any of those, unless something wins by 10 lengths, is going to shoot into favouritism or anything. If I had to have a bet, I'd have a very, very small bet at 100 to 1 and Bacchus on, but if I had to have a bet now, it would be Sizing John, I think.
You have a small bet on who?
Bacchus on at 100 to 1.
Okay, wow. 100 to 1 Bacchus on for Gavin Lynch. I personally think the most solid of all these is Coney Island still.
Okay.
I know he's got a bit to prove, but
it was a great run in Ascot.
He's a Grade 1 winning novice who showed his well-being at Ascot. He's lightly raced and he has a touch of class. Go back even over hurdles. Yeah. He's a classy horse, and for me, he'd be the one certainly. But he's probably found in the market at 9 to 1.
You just wonder if he'd stay 3 mile 2. He looked 1 year at Leopardstown at Christmas over 3 mile that he's definitely going to bolt up.
Yeah, this time last year you're probably saying the same about Sizing John.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that put you back in your box, didn't it?
It did.
Yeah. Okay, Chris, the Gold Cup picture, it couldn't be any muddier. Can you shed some light on it?
Yeah, it should be fantastic the next couple of weeks. Cotswold Chase on Saturday and the Irish Gold Cup the following weekend. Things will become clearer, you'd like to think, like Whisper, Bristol de May, Our Duke, Annabelle Fly running in these races in the next fortnight. Who would I back at the moment? It's incredibly hard. I don't think Mike Bike's done much wrong really. We could have won the RSA by 20 lengths last year if he didn't go for Walkabout at 72. Coney Island's a horse that fascinates me with its profile and at 9-1, the fact he came back well and won incredibly well at Ascot. But a real outsider, mad selection here. Vic at 25-1. Won his last 5 races. He's won at the festival before. He's beat Thistlecrack and a Grade 1. He's 9 years old, the perfect kind of age for a Gold Cup horse. I don't know if he won in this race, but at 25-1, he stands out in what is, like you see, a very murky Gold Cup picture at the moment.
So there we go, folks. You can't ask for more than that. We've got a 100-1 poke from Gavin Lynch, batches on, and we've got a 25-1 shot from Chris from our sponsors 188bet. Vic at 25-1. My measly Coney Island at 9-1 is looking shocking after that. We seen some great racing over the weekend, Gavin. We'd Ascot, we'd Haydock, we'd Navan, we'd Thurles. Anything catch your eye with regard to Cheltenham?
There probably wasn't that much over the weekend, but I thought Drumcliff was very impressive in a handicap chase.
God, he jumped brilliant, didn't he?
Yeah, it looks a very, very good horse. He was disappointing a little bit over hurdles. They fancied him a few times. He won the other day of 129. He'd probably get 10, I suppose, because he bolted up. On your O'Connor rode it. That could be a horse for the Close brothers. One thing to point out with the Close brothers handicap chase this year is last year was a 0-140. This year it's a 0-145. I think that's fantastic for punting because you're going to see horses in it maybe like Move with the Times, the Plot and Shed, Kemboy, Koshari, the Storyteller, Drumcliff. It's going to be a much better race.
Wow, that sounds very nice indeed, yes.
Yeah.
Anything else?
La Bagarwa, the mare.
Oh, I love her.
She's 2
God,
from 2 over
her.
3 miles. Warren Greatrex said that she'll probably go for the stairs. We didn't even mention her earlier. She's going to get the £7, obviously. And she's highly rated. She's around 150.
She's just an out-and-out galloper, isn't she?
She's very good.
Yeah, and her jumping is electric. I actually gave her a squeak in the Mayor's Novice Herd last season. That was 2 mile 1 against Let's Dance, and she was just tap for toe.
Yeah.
This is more a cup of tea, staying distances, isn't it?
There was 2 horses yesterday in Thurles too, Pizza High and Dortmund Park. If Pizza High went to a Fred Winter or Dortmund Park went to a Bartlett, they could be each way chances maybe.
Yeah, no chance.
No chance. Okay.
None of them have any chance. There you go. That is the weekend action taken care of. I suppose the main reason that people watch the show, Gavin, is to know your anti-post fancies for the Cheltenham Festival. And before we reveal this week's one, let's just revel in your selection so far, which is quite an impressive list. Let's be honest about it. I don't like giving you praise, but
I seen your list earlier. Your list is good too.
Okay, so here we go. We've got Cause for the cross-country chase at 6-1, Espoir de Len 10-1 for the Triumph Hurdle, Footpad at 5-1 for the Arkle, Cracking Smart, Albert Bartlett 12-1, Undersow Ryanair chase 9-2, Holographic for the Champion Bumper at 7-1, Scoater 10-1 for the Kim Muir, and Fountains Will Fall 10-1 for the RSA chase. Of all of those, Gavin,
yes,
which are you happiest with? What position are you happiest with?
I suppose Footpad and Cause of Causes.
Yeah.
I think those 2 should win. The others all have chances. One thing to point out there, I tipped up a horse, and you had tipped up before, a Squaw and a handicap. I just had a look at some stats there over the weekend, and it's actually 34 races since a favourite won a handicap.
Wow. 34?
Yeah, it was the Pertemps.
That could be 4 or 5 years, could it?
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's 3.5 years.
And was the last winning favourite Fingal Bay?
Fingal Bay and the Pertemps, yeah.
Okay.
Back
Would that
in
worry you?
Well, it just shows that handicaps are incredibly difficult at Cheltenham. The average price in the last 3.5 years has been just over 15-1. So you might think you're getting great value. Score Tour might go off 5-1 on the day, but they're just hard races to win, you know.
Yeah, certainly, they certainly are. Now, so we've got 2, 4, 6, 8. We've got 8 selections from you there. The 9th selection is.
Yeah, we've won this week, and it's Tiger Roll for the cross country. Now we know we've that there, but personally, I've just had so much money on Cause of Cause, I have to have a saver. Let's look here at Cause of Cause's profile.
Yeah, this is quite interesting. So this is a comparison between Tiger Roll and Cause of Causes, both going for the same race, the Glenfarclas Cross Country Chase, and very, very similar profiles.
Yeah,
Gavin.
so this was the profile for Cause of Causes last February. He actually ran this coming Saturday over fence. So he was 9 years old going to Cheltenham. He was a rating of 148. He had won twice before at Cheltenham, which is obviously very important. He had won over 4 miles. This race is 3 miles 6, so he definitely stays. He also was quick enough to win a very good race over 2 miles. It's a mixture of having speed and stamina. Loves good ground, best form in the spring, trained by Gordon Elliott, who's a great man at targeting a certain race. And what was very interesting was this coming weekend, he had his first spin over the fences at Cheltenham, and he's beaten 42 lengths to give him a sight at the fence.
Okay, so moving on to this year, Tiger Roll.
Right now, Tiger Roll is an 8-year-old, a rating of 151, has won twice at Cheltenham, including the 4 miler. It's quick enough to win a race over 2 miles and won the Triumph Hurdle at Cheltenham. Loves good ground, loves the spring because of the good ground. trained by Gordon as well.
And this last stat
Yeah.
is quite remarkable.
It's just a coincidence. It's no big deal, but just it did run there on the 15th of December in Cheltenham over the cross-country fences. First circuit didn't jump brilliant. Second circuit it jumped lovely and was beaten 42 lengths. Cause won it last year. I think the race could be between the two of these this year. I think they'll go off favourite and second favourite.
And like there's people watching this show and they will say to themselves, it's a cross-country chase. It's only a new addition, relatively new addition to the Cheltenham Festival. They've no interest in the race. They think it's a lottery. How can you tell them to have a bet in this race?
But if they go by the line and you've a winning docket, that'll increase your interest quite a bit.
Would you say you're in profit for this race?
Overall?
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably am, yeah. Like, I think that
didn't sound
the
too
SP
convincing to me now.
I can't remember, but I like this race. I don't think there's very many horses that can win it. Like, Josie's Orders, Bless the Wings, Auvergnat, Gamble probably won't go there, but those three, they look a little bit exposed. They've been over plenty of times. He was second last year. He won it before in the Stewards' Room. Causes, I can see him going off 2-1. I could see Tiger Roll going off a 5 or 6-1 shot.
Okay. So what's your advice? You're in a great position with Causes. You've obviously backed Tiger Roll already as well. If people watching this show for the first time, it's 50 days to Cheltenham. A lot of people wouldn't have had an anti-post bet yet. Right now, what would your advice be to them?
Of any horse at Cheltenham, say the top half dozen, I think those two are the best value.
Okay.
In the top 6 or 8 horses at Cheltenham at the moment, a 4-1 and 12-1. I think if you back the two of them, you're going to get a great run.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how shocked would you be if neither of those won the Glenfarclas cross-country
9.
chase? Wow, 9.
I would, yeah. I just don't see the others winning it. And there's no new kids on the block except for Tiger Roll. He's the only new kid this year.
Okay, that's really interesting. So there's a pretty good argument for Tiger Roll in the cross-country chase. And that 12-1 looks quite big. I wonder will it last till tomorrow after people watching this show?
Time will tell.
2.3 million people watching and getting on Tiger Roll at 12-1. And time for my selection. And I went for a handicapper last week in Tully East. And I'm going to go for another handicapper this time. And it is Don't Touch It in the Grand Annual. A son of Scorpion, who could have a relatively good Cheltenham Festival this year. Hopefully by that stage Mike Bite will have won the Gold Cup. And I just think with Don't Touch It, like go back, he was a Grade 1 winning novice hurdler.
In Punchestown, yeah.
Yes, he beat Brain Power and he beat Petit Mouchoir that day. And York Hill. That's really quality form. Last season he won a big handicap at the Punchestown Festival. I think this has been the plan for a long time. A long, long time.
And Jessica won the race last year.
Jessica won the race with Rock the World. And I just think he's a horse that jumps well, loves good ground. I think he'll come alive in the spring like he's done in the last couple of seasons. And
he's had a run.
Yeah, and he's been running on bad ground. He wants better ground. And there's 20-1 available for the Grand Annual. Don't be surprised if he goes off favourite. That would be my advice.
Okay.
Yes.
Your anti-post selections are looking quite good.
What do you make of them, Gavin?
Obviously the top one won't be winning.
No.
The other ones, the bottom one won't, but the middle four are very
Now,
good.
we did this show a fortnight ago, and there was a filly in there that you had never heard of.
Yes.
So have you done your research with Maria's benefit?
I have. So she's been very, very good recently over hurdles. She's won her last 3 or 4.
I could have told you that, yeah.
Yeah, she won by 30 lengths in Taunton.
Well, yeah.
The one thing I find staggering is the rating that Phil Smith has given her. Just to tell you, Limini and Let's Dance have won the only 2 runnings of the Mayor's Novice, and the rating after Cheltenham was 145, right? Going into Taunton, I think she was rated 136, and he gave her £16. She's now rated 152, so she's £7 above Limini and Let's Dance. And if she ran in a handicap against Apple's Jade, who's won 7 Grade 1s, she'd only be getting £5. The rating seems a bit crazy, but she's got a great chance, definitely.
That 7-1 I think could look huge on the day.
Yeah.
That race can't come quick enough for me now. Yeah.
There's a good novice hurdle next Saturday in Fairy House, so whatever wins that will probably be the best of the Irish, I'd say.
And she's great to watch. I suppose she's the female equivalent of Undesoul. Likes to just get out and get on with it.
Get on with it,
Benefit.
She jumps brilliant, by the way.
I'm quite impressed with this list now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Tully East as well.
Yeah, be interesting when we see it on the 3rd week of March to see how we stand. So that's it for this week's show. Next week's show, Gavin, we're going to have another selection. Can you give viewers a clue even as to what it is?
No, not yet. I haven't picked one for next
now,
week yet.
Now, I've been inundated with texts. If you went through my phone book, I would say the most text you would see, I put the phone in here, would be, hold on, I'm going to read out one of them. Okay, so we'll go back. Wednesday. Tell me what Gavin's fancy is in the handicap. Dennis. Any chance you could tell me what Gavin's fancy is in the handicap? Everybody wants to know what this big certainty in the handicap is. I have about 5 or 6 texts.
We'll chat about it next week. I did also mention I might have the winner of the Irish Grand National, which I thought was going to be Maldini, but I see he's entered in Gorham Park in the Thyestes. If he runs in that, 10-1 could look good value before.
So Maldini for the
I think so,
on
yeah.
Thursday. Okay. But are we going to get this handicap fancy out of you?
We'll see.
Okay.
Not today.
We'll keep them guessing. So there you go, folks. My thanks to Chris Graham from our sponsors, 188bet. I've been David Jennings from the Racing Post. He's been Gavin Lynch from the Racing Post. Don't forget to join us next week.